And now Aslan Weekly presents Where in Aslan is Scott?
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
Aslan where in Aslan is Aslan where in Aslan
Yeah. I'm Scott Russell Duncan, Chicano writer and editor with the widest name. Scott! And this is Where in Aslan is Scott? And to answer that question today is Elvira from Chicano Elegance. And she's going to answer that question. Elvira, where in Aslan are you?
I am in the San Fernando Valley, Los Angeles.
I heard of that place. So could you tell me about Chicano Elegance? Maybe you can explain what it is and what brought you to create this wonderful organization that you got going on.
Of course, the longest story ever. I'm going to make it kind of short. So my family and I migrated to the United States in 1991. The height of, street gangs, the height of the LA riots. Damn! So we arrived here in 1991, being immigrants from Peru, because that's where I was born. And we landed in the local project, Section 8. And that was a very culture shock, because I was always told that, the U.S. is this place that's like Disneyland and gold is everywhere. And then we're like, no, this is not, where's the gold? Like all we saw was graffiti, poverty, drugs. So I was like, okay, this is very third world. I'm used to this. I grew up in this. So, it's just in English. Big deal. So my parents, went to worked 20 jobs. So I was left at home alone. Who had babysit back in them days? So just close the door, you didn't open it, and that was that. So basically the community that helped raise me was a Chicano community. I didn't have tios, primos, nothing really to hang on to. It was just myself and my sister, and that was it. So everybody around me became my primos, my extended family. So when everybody asks, how is a Peruvian-born immigrant know about anything that's Chicano? It's like, well, because whether I wanted to or not, I lived it. And one of those things that was cool about it is that, yeah, it had its moments of danger and debauchery, but there's a beautiful warmth that other people don't see, that other people don't understand. How people would look out for you, how people would try to help you. If you were hungry, they invite you to their house. Oh, we're having a quinceañera or bautizo, de aquí está el taquero, quieres algo de comer, There's a warmth in that. Aww. That people don't see from the outside. All they see is drugs, gang. And that's what I always thought, what? There's such beauty in this community and no one ever highlights it. And not just because of how warm they are, because that comes from, the Mexican root, cultura, that we're just like that. But then there's also a lot of talent. I would see tattoos and people that would write you from jail. And I'm like, this is some art. Like, this guy is in jail. This guy's on the corner, bored at class. And by the time first period is over, he has a whole masterpiece on one of the cuadernos. Like, this is crazy. So I also saw a lot of talent. And then I also love the way that everybody created their own style. In the 90s, the Chicano style was not anything that we got from Vogue magazine, okay? Nothing that was trending on the internet or social media. We created that style. It wasn't what the 80s and 70s pachucos were. It was a whole new thing in the 90s, The girls were wearing more androgynous things, which people don't talk about. But like me, I was wearing big pants, big shirts, it's very androgynous. I wasn't doing the girl thing. And so for me, once I grew up, I had a lot of thinking, and I was like, you know what, the way that I ended up in where I'm at, after high school, I wanted to become a designer like my father. He's a tailor. And I thought, you know what would be cool to see on the runways? Chicanos, Latinos, indigenous. Because when you go to a lot of these other fashion shows, you have a token, whatever, Asian, Black, Latino. Their designs don't really reflect their culture. It just looks like another outfit from Nordstrom's or Macy's. But a Latino made it. And I'm like, okay, great, he made it, but I don't see you in here, So I was hungry for us to have our own gala, like the Met Gala. But starring us. And I waited for a long time because, mind you, I started my fashion journey in 2001. The first gala was in 2023. That's 20-something years. Damn! If I didn't do it, I was like, dude, I'm going to die and I'm never going to see this realized. It's not going to happen. So I just got to do it myself. And once it happened, I was happy. I was ready to hang up my hat, call it a day. I did it. Yay, it was perfect. But what I didn't know is what it did for the community that was in attendance. I was getting calls and messages and all these things. When's the next one? I'm like, never. I'm done. But they said this did a lot for me because I did not just feel invited. I felt seen. I felt valued and I felt celebrated. And what the gala did, as soon as you walk in the room, like right now you have this guayabara on. You walk in the room, someone's going to want to take pictures of you and ask you, where did you get it? They're going to ask you, what do you do? They're going to ask you, where are you from? And these are all questions because they want to get to know you. And that's what happens at the gala. People are curious. They're excited. And so I was told nothing like that had ever been done before. And so we did that. The first one was in LA. Second one was in Hollywood. The last one was in the East Coast because Chicanos from the East Coast caught what we were doing. And they said, you need to do that over here. And I said, there's no Chicanos on the East Coast. Why would I do that? And they said, you need to fly out here and we'll show you. I called their bluff. And yes, sure enough, there are Chicanos out there. They're low riding. They got the B-class. They got their bailes. I was like, oh, okay, my mistake. So then we did it. And again, the same thing. We united a lot of the boroughs together. So we had Staten Island and New York and Jersey. It's a unifying kind of event where we all just come together, celebrate, dance, we eat, whatever. And then once it's done, now you guys in that community, it's up to you to continue to work with each other. That's the whole purpose of it. Chicano Elegance plants the seed, then we leave. We're like a traveling circus. We leave, but now everybody that got to know each other that night can connect with each other and continue to grow, make it bigger, and the sky's the limit. And last year is when I officially made it into a nonprofit, because this whole time there hasn't been a sugar daddy that's been funding this. It's been me. Yeah. And I am not by any means a woman of wealth or richness. So, we make miracles happen with $5. Si no, ya valió. And that's how we went from the Chicano Elegance Gala, a one-night experiment, to now what's today the Chicano Elegance Foundation.
Well, I wanted to mention a couple things. This is what here, like quote unquote, Aslan is the interior third world, right? And of course, like Chicano's a culture, so I mean, you could be of any background and really be Chicano as well. But I wanna like give you props, laud you, whatever you want to say. Got do a little clapping sound here. Orale. Because this is exactly what I've always advocated for, because I've experienced this in the writing world and everything, where they include us, but it's like as lesser beings or as paternalistic, or they want us to whitewash or get rid of ourselves, or they're exploiting our culture, or they are like the one society. Here at Chicana is deciding, and you're directly giving what we need. We need our own institution like Chicano Elegance, that is like directly feeding the people of the like notions of fashion, because we are fashionable, right? And I kind of want to ask you, we have a couple of things to get to. I want to ask you there. I mean, obviously I've always been very interested in the way Chicano culture is seen around the world, but you're actually I think you have this fashion from the actual community, you want to say core community. I think across the seas, how do you see the reaction from, like, you already went through our community a bit, but what about like from people outside the community?
So, well, I don't know if Mexico counts as outside the community, but we did a mini Chicano Elegance presentation last November in Ciudad Mexico. I love the Chicano culture. I know the Chicano culture. I live the Chicano culture, and I did this whole thing to give a love letter to the Chicano culture. I'm Peruana 100%, but that doesn't mean I cannot love on my Mexican brothers and sisters. I cannot love on my Chicano brothers and sisters who adopted me. I can love on y'all. Accept me as being Perona. Then we can go forward. And they did. They said, you know what? Yes, we love it. Come down. And everybody that gets that from me in the beginning, I want to make sure I come into the rooms with respect.
Before we ran out of time here, I mean, you also have done a book and a magazine. Maybe you can talk to us about the book and magazine really quickly.
So the book is the last 3 years of the gala, and it's a coffee table picture book. And this is when you open it and look at all the beautiful imagery in there. That's what I want people to be inspired by. So you're going to see elders, you're going to see young people, you're going to see pachucos, you're going to see the homies. We are not just a monolith of, look, it's a Dickies and a Ben Davis. We are everything and then some. You have the LGBT community included in it because we're not excluding anybody.
Yes! Oh my God, yes!
And so that's what this book is about. It's just a picture, just like any other books I've seen, like at The Usual Suspects, and they have their pretty books. I'm like, we want a pretty book too. We want to be pretty too. So I created that, and the cover is the best part because it is a custom-made purse with homies on it, little homies, and it's a man holding his date's purse. So you see him tatted up in the knuckles and wearing rings, but he's holding a purse. And I think that's so much growth because I also think that our indigenous communities were not about the machismo, and there's nothing wrong with a man holding his girlfriend's purse, and we made it into a big old cover because it is a badass image.
I mean, I use what I call a purse. I don't really care.
And that's what the book
anybody
is
got
about.
words, they can come up to me about it. Like,
right, talk to me about my purse.
It's really, I kind of find the sexualization and genderification of certain, objects a little bit weird, but
it's very, very weird. But that's what the book is about, just to insert that elegance and beauty into that for the people that have it. And it's limited edition. So once we sell out, which we have, I think, like a box and some change left, so that's not a lot. That'll be that. And then the magazine, and that is because we wanted to continue to tell the stories about the little pictures and postings that we're doing on a deeper scale, with more production value, just like they do with the Vogue magazine or whatever, and keep it. So this way, if anything ever happens to social media, we get kicked out, what have you, our stories are going to live on in print. I
just ordered my copies of both the book. What's the book called again?
It's called Yoli, which is short for Yolot, and that means heart in Nahuatl.
So,
the Chicano Elegance book and the Yoli magazine, correct?
Yeah. Oh, okay. There we go. So you got those. You can get those right now. And what's the website again?
ChicanoElegance.com.
That's easy. Maybe you could tell us about the galas because, you talked a little bit about the gala. We have an upcoming one.
Yeah, our upcoming gala this year is on September 26th in the city of San Bernardino. Orale. And this time, why San Bernardino is because one thing about San Bernardino is that when people think about the city, myself included, homelessness, everybody's out of business, poor, crime, and people are just cracked out on the street. Damn! I'm sorry. So we want to change that, and let's talk instead about the artists, the designers, and the entrepreneurs in San Bernardino, plus their music scene in San Bernardino. So we're going to change the narrative and highlight all the beauty for one night in San Bernardino, September 26th, Chicano Elegance Gala. You always want to be present because a gala is like the other, and we shut it down. It's not like you walk in, you sit down, and you don't move. Absolutely not. That's very white. Our galas there's a dinner time, and after that, you're going to be looking at the galleries, tasting some wine, dancing, enjoying the fashion show, enjoying performances, and mingling. So it is not a sit down for 3 hours, boring. No, it is. You have to come and experience it.
Oh, that sounds great. Other than the gala, what's any future plans for Chicano Elegance?
I want to expand our team. I want to pay our writers. I want to pay our photographers. I can't do that out of my own pocket. That doesn't make sense. Even Jeff Bezos, who was the chair of the Met Gala, raise money for the Met Gala. He could easily write a check, but he doesn't do this. But you guys want me to do it? Oh, that don't make no sense. And we're not doing that. So if we want this to live, if we want it to expand, if you want to be part of it, please help us keep it going.
One thing about our culture is I often they'll want to see half a second in the mainstream directed by somebody else where we're just standing there and we're not telling the story, if you know what I'm saying. But here we are, we got our own story, own culture, Chicano elegance that you're saying in fashion. We got to, our community's got to meet us halfway for Chicano elegance to have these wonderful galas and fashion shows. So I want to thank you for the work you're doing. I think it's amazing. I've seen the style that our community has, and it's been, emulated throughout the world a bit. And so, but here, we need to support our own cultural production, and that's a part of it. So, like, go and check out these galas, because I imagine they're going to be happening like yearly, correct?
Yeah, they happen yearly, and like again, we're a traveling circus. So if you're in San Bernardino, you better go, because we're not coming back again to San Bernardino. We're gonna move on to Phoenix or Houston. I don't know, but we don't do the same place twice, because we got to get out of our fishbowl in order to reach the rest of, like you said, Aslan.
You heard what she said. Go and see the clowns. I mean, go see Chicano elegance.
Clowns in the traveling circus, because it really is.
I want to thank Elvira with Chicano elegance again. Please stay tuned for more Aslan Weekly programming.
Aslan. Where in Aslan is Aslan. Where in Aslan is
Now we return you to our regular scheduled program.